6 p.m. West Pakistan time. This is Radio Pakistan. In our series of party political broadcasts, we now present Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, President of the All Pakistan Awami League. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
My dear fellow citizens, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. I must begin by offering munajat for those heroic martyrs who shed their blood and laid down their lives for the cause of the people. It is their sacrifices and that of countless thousands who have defied tyranny in movement after movement, leading up to last year's historic mass of sirs that has carried the people's struggle forward. Indeed, even the fact that I am able to speak to you over the national radio and television network may be counted as one of the initial gains of the people's struggle, since up till this time, this privilege was monopolized by those in power. Our struggle must go on, for the real goals lie ahead. Power has to be owned by the people. The exploitation of man by man and of region by region must be brought to an end. The powerful coteries which have ruled Pakistan for long 22 years will do everything possible to prevent transfer of power to the people. It is they who are actively conspiring to frustrate the holding of the general elections, and even after elections, they will continue to obstruct every effort to end exploitation. They have money, they have influence, they have the capacity to use force against the people. History, however, testifies that a determined people can successfully resist and overcome such forces of oppression. The most solemn pledge that our League can make to the people of Pakistan is that we shall stand by their side and indeed lead them in resisting the forces of oppression and exploitation. No people have secured freedom and justice unless they have been prepared to die for it. We therefore serve notice upon the force of reaction in our society that we, along with the people of Pakistan, will confront them, and if democratic forces are obstructed, we shall resist them by every means possible. Our League was born in adversity and has grown in adversity. Our great leader, the late Hussain Shahi Swarwardi, we came into existence to defy the attempt of ruling party to form a one-party state. We thus began the struggle to establish democracy in Pakistan. This struggle continues till this day. Our party has faced onslaught after onslaught from the ruling group. Our leadership, our workers have spent the better part of their lives in jails. We have faced and overcome every form of repression. It is this that gives us the courage and confidence today to commit ourselves to the task of confronting the anti-democratic forces. To overcome the crisis that engulfs the nation, we must resolve those issues which are its cause. The first is the deprivation of political freedom. The second is the sense of economic injustice felt by the overwhelming multitude of our people. The third is the deep sense of injustice created by widening the economic disparity between the regions. It is this that underlies the anguish and the anger of the Bengali people. The same sentiment is reflected among the downtrodden people of neglected areas of West Pakistan. Our manifesto sets out a comprehensive strategy for resolving these fundamental issues. A real living democracy must be established in which all the fundamental freedoms shall be constitutionally granted. Our manifesto outlines a framework for the healthy growth of political parties, trade unions, local self-government. We do pledge to restore complete freedom of the press and academic freedom, and to eradicate corruption, which has grown like a cancer in our society. The present economic system, which has established an intolerable structure of injustice, must be radically altered. Today, barely 24 families have acquired control over 60% of the national industrial assets, 80% of its banking assets, and 75% of its insurance assets. 82% of the total bank advances are concentrated in only 3% of total accounts. The tax structure in existence is of the most regressive in the world. Only 2% of GNP is being realized as direct taxes as against 6% in other developing countries. While oppressive indirect taxes are imposed on such essential commodities as salt, protected markets, tax holidays, huge subsidies in the form of bonus vouchers, credits and grants of foreign exchange, and the artificially low official rate have created a specially favored condition for the growth of monopolies and cartels. Despite nominal land reforms, feudal lords have retained princely states. They enjoy vast privileges and their prosperity increases, while the lot of the poor peasants becomes more and more desperate. In a bid for survival, there is a movement of people from villages to the cities. According to official estimates, 1/5 of the total labor forces, or about 90 lakhs people, are unemployed. This alarming figure continues to grow. The industrial workers are suffering the full impact of the sharp rise in the cost of living. The cost of living is increasing more rapidly than the increase in money wages. The impact of the unending rise is the cost of living is also accurately felt by school and college teachers, low-paid officers, employees, particularly the fourth-grade employees of government. To turn now to the appalling record of economic disparity, it is seen that during the last 20 years, out of the total revenue expenditure of the government, only about rupees 1,500 crores, that is only 1/5 of the total, was spent in Bengal, as against over 5,000 crores in West Pakistan. Of the total development expenditure during the same period, about rupees 3,000 crores, that is only 1/3 of the total, was spent in Bengal, as against about rupees 6,000 crores in West Pakistan. Over 20 years, West Pakistan has imported goods worth more than rupees 3,000 crores, as against its own foreign exchange earnings of barely 1,300 crores. Imports into West Pakistan have been 3 times the value of the imports into Bengal. It was made possible for West Pakistan to import goods worth 2,000 crore in exchange of its export earnings by allocating to it 500 crores of the foreign exchange earnings of Bengal and allowing it to utilize over 80% of all foreign aid. The record of the field of government services is just as deplorable. About 22 years, Bengalis account for barely 15% in central government services and less than 10% of the defense services. The total economic impact of such discrimination has been that of economy. Bengal today is a state of imminent collapse. Near famine conditions are prevailing in the majority of the villages. Some 17 lakh tons of rice has had to be imported only to save the people from starvation. While inflation has been mounting, those who are worse hit are the poor people of Bengal. The price of essential commodities has been 50% to 100% higher in Bengal than in West Pakistan. The average price of coarse rice in Bengal is rupees 40 to 50 per month, as against 20 to 25 per month in West Pakistan. And of wheat is rupees 30 to 35 per month in Bengal, as against rupees 15 to 20 per month in West Pakistan. Master oil sells in Bengal at rupees 5 per share as against rupees 2 rupees 50 paisa per share in West Pakistan. The gold price is rupees 135 to 140 per tola in Karachi as against rupees 160 to 165 per tola at Dhaka. Even a customs barrier has been imposed against carrying gold from West Pakistan to Bengal. This injustice is the product of management the economy for 22 years by the central government. The central government is incapable of addressing such injustices. This is born out of the fourth five-year plan. The fourth plan allegation are a confession of the failure of the central government, however powerful it might be to redress past injustices. Awami League's 6-point program, which is embodied in the 11-point program, presents a rational solution to this problem of the regional injustice. With a central bureaucracy in which Bengalis account for barely 15%, and with the nature of our power structure being what it is, to expect justice from the centralized system of economic management would be to expect the impossible. Attempts to secure larger allegation by political representatives of Bengal and other underdeveloped areas would only aggravate regional tensions and threaten the viability of federal government. The only feasible solution is the reordering of the constitutional structure by giving full regional autonomy to the federating units on the basis of our 6-point formula. Such autonomy, in order to be effective, must include the power of managing the economy. This is why we insist upon federating units having control over monetary and fiscal policy and foreign exchange earnings and other powers to negotiate foreign aid and foreign trade and foreign aid. By giving to the federating units full control over its economic destiny, while entrusting the federal government responsibility over foreign affairs and defense, and subject to certain safeguards, currency, we believe a just federal balance will be attained. Our federal scheme envisages the abolition of all Pakistan services and its replacement by federating services in which persons shall be recruited on the basis of population for all parts of Pakistan. We also believe that maintenance of militia or paramilitary forces by federating units will effectively contribute towards national security. This federal scheme, by removing the source of doubts, distrust, and discrimination, will ensure a strong Pakistan. This scheme will understandably be opposed by those in our region who would like to treat another region as a colony or a market. We believe, however, that this scheme will have the full support of the common man of Bengal and West Pakistan. Within this constitutional framework, we believe it will be possible to bring about a social revolution through the democratic process and to create a socialistic economic order free from exploitation. Rapid economic growth is an imperative necessity in order to meet the needs of our growing population. To achieve it, enormous effort and sacrifices are required to our people. Our people can be expected to respond to our call for making a brave collective effort only if we can assure them that the burden of sacrifices as well as the fruits of economic prosperity shall be equitably shared among all sections of the people and all regions of the country. To ensure these certain radical changes must be made in the structure of our economy. We believe it is imperative to place key areas of the economy, including banking and insurance, under public ownership through nationalization. Future development in these areas should take place in the public sector. In the new order, workers should share in the equity capital and management of the industrial enterprises. The private sector also, in its own sphere, must make their full contribution to the economy. Monopolies and cartel must be totally eliminated. The tax structure must be made truly progressive on the consumption of luxuries. Extensive support and encouragement must be extended to small scale and cotton industries. Such support should include ensuring regular supply of raw materials, such as yarn, dye stuffs, to handloom weavers at reasonable prices. Marketing and credit facilities must also be made available to them. Small scale industries must be developed through cooperatives and dispersed through the countryside, reaching into the depths of rural areas, so that desperately needed employment opportunities are extended to our rural masses. Jute has suffered from criminal neglect, a discriminatory exchange rate, a parasitic middleman have denied to the jute growers a fair price. Nationalization of the jute trade and muscular emphasis on jute research aimed at improving quantity and yield per acre will enable jute to make its rightful contribution to our economy. Cotton needs similar attention, and therefore we believe that cotton trade should also be nationalized and measures adopted to improve quality and yield. Our major cash crops, tea, sugarcane, tobacco still suffer from appallingly low yields due to neglect of previous governments. In a resource-poor country, every effort must be made to ensure rapid increase in productivity. A fair and stable price to the growers should also be ensured. Indeed, our entire agricultural sector needs to be revolutionized. Jagirdari, Jamindari, Sardari systems in West Pakistan must be abolished. The entire land system has to undergo a radical reorientation in the interest of actual tillers of the land. Ceiling must be imposed on land holdings. Land above such ceilings and the government cost land must be redistributed to landless cultivators. Agriculture must be modernized. The obstacle presented by the fragmentation and subdivision of land holdings must be overcome. And immediate steps in the right direction would be to induce the tillers to group their holdings under multi-purpose cooperatives. Government could provide effective inducement for this purpose by funneling through such cooperatives vital inputs such as irrigation, embankment, drainage, deep tube wells, power pumps, fertilizers, improved seeds, agricultural implements and machinery, credit and instruction in modern agriculture techniques. As a measure of immediate relief to our peasants, we are groaning under the burden of land revenue. We should abolish land revenue in respect of holdings up to 25 bighas and right of all areas in respect of such holdings. Ultimately, we aim to abolish the present system of land revenue. These vital areas, which form part of infrastructure of economy, must be accorded the highest priority. The first is flood control. A comprehensive flood control program must be implemented on an emergency basis. Measures to prevent waterlogging and salinity in West Pakistan must also be implemented at an accelerated pace. The next vital area is that of power. There must be massive expansion in power generation and distribution. An extensive rural electrification must be launched to take electricity to the villages so as to make it possible for a small-scale industry to be established. We aim to attain our power generation capacity of 2,500 megawatts in Bengal within 5 years. Every source of power must be harnessed to maximize power generation capacity. The Nupur nuclear power project and Jamal coal project must be immediately implemented. Natural gas must also be fully utilized. The third vital area is that of transport and communication. The highest priority is accorded by us to the construction of a bridge over the river Jamuna to enable direct communication to and from North Bengal. Bridges should also be developed over different points on river in Das and Sindh and the Punjab over the Buriganga, Shitalakha and Karnafuli. The development of ports, both seaports and inland river ports, and also roads and railways, must be accorded the highest priority. No investment is as vital for the healthy development of our society than investment in education. It is an alarming fact. The number of primary schools in Bengal has declined since 1947. Only 80% of our population has attained literacy, and the number of illiterates is increasing by over 1 million persons per year. Primary education is denied to more than half of the nation's children. Only 80% of our boys and 6% of our girls complete the first 5 years of elementary school. We believe that at least 4% of the gross national product should be committed to education. The salary of the college and the school teachers, and particularly school teachers, must be substantially increased. Illiteracy must be eradicated by adopting of extraordinary methods. A crash program must be launched to extend free compulsory primary education to all children within 5 years. Secondary education should be made readily accessible to all sections of our people. New universities, including medical and technical universities, must be rapidly established. Poverty should not be allowed to deprive meritorious boys and girls of the opportunity to pursue higher education. Immediate steps should be taken to ensure that Bengali and Urdu should replace English in all walks of life, while every effort should be made to encourage the development of regional languages. Turning to the problem of the cities, we find low-income groups living in subhuman condition. The so-called improvement trust have been busy developing luxurious residential areas for the wealthy, while the poor have been left to fend for themselves. Future urban development must concentrate on providing for the needs of the poor majority of the city dwellers. Low-cost urban housing must be accorded the highest priority. In the field of health, even a minimum measures of medical relief is denied to over 90% of our population. Immediate measures should be undertaken to establish a rural medical center and every union and a hospital at every Thana headquarters. National service in the rural areas should be introduced for medical graduates, and para-medical personnel must be trained in large number to establish the rural health centers. Industrial workers play as vital a role in the economy as in the people's struggle. Their basic rights to form trade unions, to bargain collectively, and to strike must be granted. A living wage and the basic amenities such as housing, education, medical care for themselves and their children must be assured. All labor laws which restrict the basic rights of workers must be repealed. They can be expected to make their full contribution toward increasing industrial productivity. Productivity in all sections of the economy must be increased to the maximum extent possible if we are to meet the needs of our society. The way the structure throughout the economy must be altered in keeping with the dictates of justice. Price stabilization measure must be adopted to protect the real wages of the workers and low-paid employees against spurring inflation. We firmly believe in the quality of all citizens. The members of the minority community should know that we have always stood against every form of communalism. They shall enjoy equal rights with all other citizens and shall enjoy equal protection of the laws. Every effort must be made to develop our tribal areas so that these areas can be fully integrated with other areas and the tribal people are able to enjoy equal opportunities with other citizens in all walks of life. Our brothers in the Chittagong Hill Tracts, in the offshore islands and the coastal areas require special assistance to develop their latent resources in order to enable them to play their rightful part in our national life. Muhajirs should be integrated into a national life so that they may become assimilated with the local people and thus enjoy equal rights and opportunity with them in all walks of life. I must repudiate once and for all the false propaganda that Islam is endangered by 6-point formula or our economic program. Nothing which promotes justice between region and region, and a man can be opposed to Islam. We have affirmed our commitment to the constitutional principle that no law should be enacted or imposed in Pakistan which is repugnant to the injunction of Islam as contained in the Holy Quran and Sunnah. To turn to the important area of foreign policy, we believe it is imperative for us to avoid involvement in global power conflicts. We must therefore pursue a truly independent, non-aligned foreign policy. We are committed to the immediate withdrawal from Seattle Cento on all other military pacts and to avoid any such involvements in the future. We support the struggle of the oppressed people of the world against imperialism, colonialism, and apartheid, in keeping with the principle friendship for all and malice towards none. We believe in peaceful coexistence with all states, in particular our neighbors. We believe that normalization of our relations with our neighbors would be the best advantage of our people. We therefore attach the highest importance to the settlement of our outstanding disputes. We have emphasized the importance of a just settlement of the Kashmir dispute in accordance with the United Nations resolutions. The threat of grave and permanent damage of the economy of Bengal posed by the completion of the Farah Barrage must be immediately met. Every effort must be made for the just solution of this problem without further delay. But this program and policies can only be implemented if power is owned by the people. Election will serve as a referendum on the basis of national issues, particularly that of autonomy, on the basis of 6-point formula. The elected representatives of the people alone can give to this country a constitution which will be durable basis for living together. It is for this reason that we have repeatedly pointed out that restrictions sought to be imposed on the constitution-making powers of the elected representatives of the people are not legitimate. We would once again urge upon the President to repeal the restrictive provisions of the legal framework order. It also helped to create conditions congenial for restoration of democracy if all pending cases warrants against the political workers, students and laborers arise out of the political activities and of the last year's mass observes are withdrawn. All sentences imposed in such cases are commuted. All political prisoners detained without trial should also be released. It is imperative for the security of the nation that armed forces should not have to carry the burden of civil administration or to have to involve itself in politics. These highly trained professionals should be left free to devote themselves exclusively to the vital task of defending the nation's frontiers. I would like to end by saying that as a nation we must prove equal to the challenge that faces us. A real living democracy must be established. The different people who make up Pakistan can only live together with a democratic framework. Any attempt to destroy democracy would in the process destroy Pakistan. Justice between region and region must be ensured by granting full regional autonomy to the federating units on the basis of our 6-point formula. Within such a federal democratic framework, radical economic programs must be implemented to bring about a social revolution. The Awami League has resolved to face this great challenge. We believe that with the support and confidence of the people which our party enjoys, we shall inshallah be able to successfully to meet this challenge. Pakistan Jindabad.